Hello, lovely English learner. I'm Tristan. On Simple English Listening, we improve your English and learn of our beautiful world at the same time. Today's classic, Hansel and Gretel in B1 English. Classic stories are an excellent way to learn English naturally. They are easier to understand because you already have an idea of what happens. It's nearly Christmas time. Ho, ho, ho. So what a perfect time to tell you a thriller story. Do you like candy and chocolate? It's in this story. And so are two children who are lost in the forest. They see a house made of candy, and inside lives a strange woman. Remember, you can change the speed of the story, and this story and more stories are all free on my website in the top link. So, let's go to the German countryside to a small village. Chapter 1. Long ago, in a small house near the forest, lived a poor woodcutter. He had two beautiful children, Hansel and Gretel. Their mother had died, and their father had married again. But times were hard, and there wasn't enough food for everyone. One night, Hansel and Gretel were in bed, but not asleep. They heard their stepmother arguing with their father through the wall. "We don't have enough food," she said. "We must get rid of the children. Tomorrow we'll take them into the forest and leave them there." "But I love my children," said the father. "I cannot leave them in the forest." The stepmother snapped. "You must, you fool, or we'll all die of hunger." The children were scared as the stepmother kept insisting. Finally, their father agreed to leave them in the forest. Gretel cried quietly, but Hansel whispered, "Sister, don't worry. God will protect us. I have an idea." Early the next morning, while everyone was still sleeping, Hansel snuck outside. He filled his pockets with small white pebbles from the garden. After breakfast, the family walked into the forest. While walking, Hansel kept dropping white pebbles and often looked back to remember the way. "Why do you keep looking back?" asked the stepmother. "Oh, I thought I saw a black cat following us," Hansel lied. After walking for hours, their father made a fire. "Wait here," he said to the children. "We'll be back soon." The children waited for many hours, and they did not come back. When the forest got dark, Gretel grew scared, but Hansel said, "Look, sister, the moonlight is making the white pebbles shine like stars. Let's follow them home." Hansel and Gretel walked home, following the pebbles. When they arrived in the morning, their father was overjoyed and hugged them tightly. Their stepmother smiled too, but her eyes were cold. A few days later, there was even less food. The stepmother said to the father, "We must try again. This time we'll leave them deeper in the forest." Hansel heard this and wanted to get more pebbles, but the stepmother had locked the door, so he couldn't go outside to get them. The next morning, the stepmother gave them each a small piece of bread for lunch. As they walked into the forest, Hansel dropped breadcrumbs behind them. They walked for a long, long time. The forest grew darker and more frightening than last time. Once again, their father made a fire and said, "Wait here, children, we'll return soon." And again, their stepmother and father never returned. When night came, Hansel said, "Don't worry, sister, we'll follow the breadcrumbs home." But when they looked for the breadcrumbs, they were all gone. The birds had eaten them. Hansel and Gretel were now lost in the forest. For 3 days, Hansel and Gretel walked through the forest. They tried eating berries and mushrooms. They had frozen tears on their faces, and their feet hurt. Then they saw a beautiful snow-white bird on a branch. It sang a delightful bird song that made them feel less afraid. The bird acted like it wanted them to follow it. The children followed the bird, hoping it would lead to help. As they walked, a sweet smell filled the air. "I smell cakes," said Hansel. "I smell chocolate," said Gretel. Then they saw something incredible. In front of them was a little house made entirely of cake and candy. The windows were made of clear sugar, and the roof was chocolate. They weren't sure if they were dreaming. They ran to the house. Hansel broke off a piece of the roof and ate it, and Gretel ate some of the window. It was delicious. Then they heard a soft voice. "Crunch, crunch, who eats my house for lunch?" The front door slowly opened. An old woman came out. She sniffed the air and said, "I smell children." Hansel said, "I'm sorry, madam. We've been lost in this forest for 3 days, with nothing to eat." The woman smiled and said, "Oh dear children, come inside. You must be starving. I have warm beds and good food for you." Hansel and Gretel weren't sure if they should trust this woman, but as cold and hungry as they were, they had little choice. They followed the old woman into the house. Inside, the house was full of delicious foods, apples, milk, pancakes, and nuts. The children ate until they were full. They told the woman the sad story of how they were abandoned. "You poor dears," the woman said kindly. "You can stay here with me. Eat as much as you like. You need to get strong." At first, Hansel and Gretel were happy, but soon they noticed strange things. The woman was very old, much older than any person they'd seen before. Her eyes were red, and she kept looking at them in a funny way. Her vision was poor, but she had an incredible sense of smell, more like an animal. One night, Hansel pretended to sleep. The strange woman opened his bedroom door. He heard her say, "Plump children make the best dinner." After she closed the door, Hansel whispered to Gretel, "Sister, I think she's a witch." Gretel's eyes widened with fear. "What should we do?" she asked. But before they could make a plan, the witch grabbed them both. The witch threw Hansel into a small cage and locked him in. "You're too skinny," she said. "I'll fatten you up before I eat you." She made Gretel work all day, cooking and baking. "Cook lots of food for your brother," the witch said. "I want him nice and plump." Each day, the witch checked if Hansel was fat enough. But clever Hansel showed her an old bone instead of his finger, tricking her poor eyesight. "Still too thin," the witch said. After 4 weeks, the witch grew impatient. "I'll eat him tomorrow, no matter how thin he is," she said. The children were terrified. They needed a plan, and fast. The next morning, the witch was excited. "Today's the day," she laughed. "Light the oven, Gretel. We're going to have a feast." Gretel lit the fire, her hands shaking. Suddenly, she had an idea to save her brother. Gretel turned on the oven and said to the witch, "Excuse me, I'm not sure if the oven is working. Can you check it for me?" "Stupid girl," the witch laughed. "You can't do anything right." The witch walked over to the oven. The witch said, "You just lean in like this." The witch leaned into the oven to check it. Gretel went behind the witch. This was her chance. Her heart was beating so loudly she feared the witch might even hear it. Gretel pushed the witch as hard as she could. The witch fell into the hot oven. Gretel tried to close the oven door, but she couldn't because the witch held on to the sides with her long arms. The witch would not let go. With all her strength, Gretel kicked her foot down on the witch's bony shoulders. Finally, the witch let go and fell fully into the oven. Her scream echoed around the house. Gretel closed the oven door quickly and fastened the bolt. Then Gretel ran to her brother's cage and unlocked it. "We're safe now," she cried, hugging her brother. Then Hansel and Gretel looked around the witch's house. They found jewels, gold coins, and pearls. "Look," said Hansel, "the witch was rich." "Let's take it all," said Gretel. "We've earned it after everything she did to us." They filled their pockets with treasure. Hansel and Gretel left the witch's house. They soon reached a wide river that Hansel recognized. How will we cross it? He wondered. The water was too deep and fast to swim across. Then they saw a friendly-looking duck swimming in the river. "Little duck, Little duck, please help us cross, Hansel called out. The kind duck carried them across the river, one at a time, safely to the other side. On the other side of the river, the forest began to look familiar. We're getting close to home, Gretel said excitedly. Finally, the children recognized the path. The trees now appeared greener, and the sky seemed brighter than it ever did before. They ran home as fast as they could. Their father sat on the front porch. He looked like he hadn't slept for many days. When he saw his children, he burst into tears. "Can you ever forgive me?" he whispered. "We will try," said Gretel. They ran into their father's arms and hugged tightly. Their father said, "I'm so sorry, my dear children. My heart is so heavy with regret." "We still love you, Father," said Hansel and Gretel. After learning their stepmother had fallen ill and died, the children showed their father all the treasures they had found. "We'll never be poor again," said Gretel happily. Hansel and Gretel knew their little house, once desperate and cold, would now be filled with laughter and warmth. The end. And for longer adaptations I've written and recorded of Romeo and Juliet, Snow White and Peter Pan for adults. They are all on my app, Coffee Chat English. So give it a try. Have an amazing week, and remember, do not take candy from strangers. I guess, I don't know, is that the message? Is there a deeper meaning to this tale? That's up to you to find out as it haunts you for the rest of your dreams this week. Okay, have a beautiful day, everyone, and see you next time. It's nice to learn English through apps and YouTube, but you must also get real speaking practice with real people. Lingoda are live online classes, 5 students per class, native teachers with clear lesson plans and homework, a very professional platform. And it's only about $10 per lesson, or 11 or 12, around that. So lock in that real English communication practice. I have a discount link for you, my beloved listeners, of €20 off and 1 week free.